Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of This Week in Baseball History. I'm your host, Jeff Lambert. It's good to be back with you. I've decided to make this week's episode a free preview for everybody to try. For those of you who have been longtime listeners of the show, you know that in order to get this bonus episode, all you need to do is go to rounders.substack.com, sign up as a free subscriber, and you get access to this extra show that we do every week that chronicles the main events that occurred in baseball history for this week. Great, stories to relive, possibly that you went through, items to share with other baseball fans, just moments to be able to remember the length and breadth of what has happened in this sport that, really gives it the color and the excitement that we all really enjoy about being able to watch, play, and enjoy the game of baseball. I have some great topics for you this week, so let's go ahead and get right into it. On May 6, 1915, Babe Ruth hit his first home run. Now, at this point, he was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. But on this game, which was against his future team, the New York Yankees, and was held at the Polo Grounds, Ruth hit his first career homer. It was only his third pitching start of his career and fourth appearance overall. And the onlookers at that game were impressed because they got to see him flex his muscle at the plate for a change. So in the third inning, Ruth swatted a low pitch all the way into the upper tier of the right field grandstand at the Polo Grounds. And this was the first home run that he hit in 18 at-bats so far that season. And this game was a tough one. Both teams were going back and forth. They were fighting tooth and nail for 13 innings. Despite this, the Red Sox led twice during the game, but they eventually lost the game due to critical errors later on in the match. However, this game is important because it marked the beginning of Babe Ruth's illustrious home run hitting career. And he would go on to hit a staggering 714 long balls during that time. On May 7th, 1960, brothers combined efforts for an extra inning victory. So this was a regular season game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies, and it went into extra innings that day. So why is this so special? Well, Norm Sherry, who was a replacement catcher for Los Angeles, and his brother Larry Sherry, a relief pitcher, combined their efforts to be able to deliver their team a win. So this game was a nail-biter. It was going into the 11th inning, and Norm Sherry stepped to the plate. His first two teammates that had gotten up had popped out, so that left 2 outs for him, and he battled against the Phillies pitcher, fouling off a few breaking balls. He got a 3-1 count, and he launched a high drive over the 42-foot high screen for a walk-off home run to seal the deal for the Dodgers. So this bomb ended up winning the game for the Dodgers, but it also gave his brother Larry the win, who had come in previously and held off the heart of the Philadelphia order in the top of the 11th inning. So thanks to the Sherry brothers and their combined efforts, the score was 3-2, and the Dodgers went home with the win. On May 8th, 1984, Kirby Puckett hit his first set of hits in his first career major league game. So Kirby Puckett, 1984, this promising player in the organization, he makes his major league debut against the California Angels on this day, and he delivered an exceptional performance in that first appearance, and it really hinted on this remarkable career that was going to follow. So, this dream start that he hit 4 singles in his first game, and that performance was instrumental. It drove the Twins to a 5-0 victory over the Angels. Now, that season, he went on to play in 128 games, and he maintained a steady .296 batting average. Not bad for a rookie. He racked up 165 hits, he scored 63 runs, and he stole 14 bases. And that outstanding performance throughout the season earned him the top place amongst Rookie of the Year candidates. He came in 3rd that season. And Puckett's debut marked a stellar beginning to his career. He went on to win his first American League batting title in 1989 when he hit .339. And if you look at his career stats, he hit .318 over the course of his time in Major League Baseball. He had 207 home runs and 1,085 RBIs. And his contributions to the game were recognized, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2001. On May 9th, 1987, Steady Eddie went yard from both sides of the plate. So Eddie Murray, who was affectionately known as Steady Eddie, he achieved a feat that had never been done before to this date, and that's because he homered from both sides of the plate for his second consecutive game. So over 2 days in a series against the White Sox, he hit 4 home runs, 2 from each side of the plate. And that exceptional display of power and skill that was crucial in leading his Baltimore Orioles to victories on both days. They won the first game by a score of 7-6, and they won the second game by a score of 15-6. But this achievement wasn't some isolated incident in Murray's career. He was known for being a switch-hitting maestro. He homered from both sides of the plate in the same game a record 11 times over his 21-year career. He was a consistent performer. He hit at least 20 home runs 17 times in his 20 seasons. And Murray's career stats are impressive overall. So when we zoom out, he had a lifetime .399 batting average in bases loaded situations. He led the league in home runs and RBIs in the strike-shortened 1981 season. You combine all of this together, his accomplishments were recognized, and he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2003. On May 10th, 1967, Hank Aaron hit his only inside-the-park home run. So Hank, one of the greatest hitters in baseball history, he achieved a unique feat 57 years ago today. In the 8th inning of a game against the Philadelphia Phillies, he hit a ball to deep center field, and he scored ahead of that relay tag. And this wasn't just any home run, it was an inside-the-park home run. Yes. So that's what makes this particularly noteworthy, because this is the only inside-the-park home run among Hank Aaron's 755 home runs, just the one. So despite that tremendous power and spectacular speed, he's only got one of these types of round trippers to his name, and it happened on this date. The pitcher who Aaron achieved this feat off of was Jim Bunning, a Hall of Fame pitcher who was really known for his competitiveness. So it wasn't some 8th inning mop-up guy that he did this against. He did it against Hall of Fame talent. So in the 1967 season, when this occurred, Aaron led the National League in runs with 113, in total bases with 344, and he earned a 5th place finish for the National League's Most Valuable Player award. Now, if you zoom out and look at his career stats, he hit .305 over the course of his career. He had 755 home runs and 2,297 RBI. And he was elected to the Hall of Fame for these accomplishments in 1982. On May 11th, 1990, an Angels top star refused to show up to spring training. So Dave Winfield, who was a star outfielder for the New York Yankees, refused to report to the California Angels after he was traded during the offseason for pitcher Mike Witt. He cited that he had an existing no-trade clause in his contract, and he stood his ground and said, "I'm not showing up. This is not something I agreed to. This no-trade clause stands." And he went into a 5-day standoff with the Angels over this clause. He was in the final year of his contract during this season, and he eventually gave in because the Angels offered him a 3-year contract extension worth $9.1 million, which is a pretty good chunk of change in 1990 money. So he officially joined the team on May 16th, which was 5 days after that initial trade, and his first game as an Angel was on May 17th, where he grounded out in a pinch hit at bat. Now, despite that initial controversy, Winfield was a valuable addition to the team. He hit .268 that season. He slugged .469, and he hit 47 home runs over 262 games with the California Angels. But he didn't finish out that 3-year contract that California had signed him to. Only in the first year, 1991, was that contract guaranteed. The final 2 years were a team option, and the Angels decided after that second season that they were all set, and they released him before the 3rd year of his contract could go into effect. And that trade from the Yankees to the Angels marked the end of a very stormy relationship that Winfield had with Yankees owner George Steinbrenner. So remember, Winfield was a key piece of those Yankees teams. He did not want to leave the team. Steinbrenner offloaded him. He was not happy about it. But if you look back over the course of his career, Winfield, my goodness, 3,110 hits, 465 home runs, a .283 batting average, and he did it over 22 seasons. And there were a lot of teams that he played for in addition to the Yankees and the Angels. He played for the Padres, he played for the Blue Jays, the Twins, and the Indians. And to finish everything out, on May 12th, 1958, the Say Hey Kid hit his final grand slam. So Willie Mays, who is known by this nickname, made baseball history on this date in a game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. He hit the final grand slam in the history of his career. But he didn't stop there that game. He added another home run to his tally, which contributed to an overall 12-3 win for his Giants over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, again, the reason this was a momentous event was because it was the first time a Giants player hit a grand slam since the team moved to San Francisco earlier that year. But it was also the last time that Willie Mays was going to hit a grand slam in his career. And if we look over the course of his career, he was known for that overall power hitting ability. He hit 660 home runs. That ranked him 6th all time. Grand slams were a rarity overall, though. He is not listed amongst the top hitters for that particular feat. But that 1958 season wasn't short on accomplishments. He played in 152 games. He hit .347, had 29 home runs, 96 RBI, and he finished in second place for the National League's most valuable player voting. Folks, that brings us to the end of this week's bonus episode. For those of you who are listening to this free preview and you haven't signed up as a free subscriber, take a minute. It would make the dog here and I happy if you're watching this by video. All you have to do is go to rounders.substack.com. You're going to get access to the free weekly show. You're going to get access to this bonus show right here. And in addition to that, as a free subscriber, you're going to get extra videos and photos and quotes and research links that you can get more in-depth information about every topic that we're exploring. So I hope you take a moment to do that. I want to thank you for tuning in for this week, and we'll see you on the next one.